into the NCAFA power rankings, I wanted to do a few minutes about the game of the year so far in Bantam. Now, not game in the year in the sense of an actual good game, but it was game of the year because of what it really meant and the quality of the two teams that were playing. Obviously, in the Bantam division, it's pretty obvious who the two top tier teams are: the Raiders and the Warriors. 8-0, the Raiders finished the season. Warriors were 7-1. With both the Raiders and the Warriors shut out the Eagles 30-0 or something during the year. The Warriors dominated the Riders, and as did the Raiders. So these are two teams that are very clearly the cream of the crop in the Bantam division. They will finish the 1-2 in the Bantam regular season. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the game, what I saw in that game, and what I think will be the key when they face off next, if they end up meeting up in the A Championship, which would be a great thing. Some of the things that I saw in the game, because I was on the field filming it. First things first is just the Raiders. I wanted to comment a little bit about what they did. Outstanding collection of football players and football coaches. They got a great group of guys. Tristano Raponi, head coach, doing a real good job formulating a great game plan against the Bell Warriors. He has a great coaching staff. I can't remember all their names, but a very great guy coaching the defense. We had a very handsome, well-dressed man coaching the offense, and we all know that Darren Joseph is helping out there, assistant offensive coordinator. They got lots of great coaches, lots of great volunteers at the Raiders. Obviously, this year with the South Ottawa Mustangs folding, they were able to collect a bit of runoff from the team, the Mustangs folding and merging into the South Gloucester Raiders. Now, to be honest, they don't have many numbers, but they got 3 players from the Mustangs on the Raiders, and these are great players on their football team. Number 32 on defense, number 11, and number, I believe, 23 running back, and the number 11 receiver. So their best receiver, their split carry running back, and one of their best defensive players, all contributions from the Mustangs. Really makes a good mix, a good solid team. The Raiders have great quarterback play. I was really impressed with their quarterback. I was really impressed with their running attack. Their defense definitely tackled well and played well, obviously shutting down one of the highest scoring offense in Bantam football. Though I do believe that a lot of the success of the defense of the Raiders was because of some of the things that the Warriors were not able to do offensively, and not always because of what the Raiders were allowing them. But I was very impressed with the Raiders, and I think they're going to be a tough beat for anybody in the playoffs. And it's good to see. It's good to see that we have different teams succeeding. It's not just the same old. It's a little bit of mixed bag of who's successful. But when you look at the top 4 standings, we got the Raiders, the Warriors, the Eagles, and the Riders are the top 4 seeds in the Bantam division. It's going to be a great playoffs. I'm really excited for this to get going next weekend in the CAFA playoffs. But the next thing I wanted to talk about that game was just a little bit from the Warriors side of the football. Obviously, everybody knows my best friend and business partner Jesse Card is a coach for the Bell Warriors, but that's not going to, change my opinion about it. It's not going to sway it either way. I'm a 100% neutral in this analysis of the football, but I was really disappointed with the I don't want to say effort level, because the kids did play hard, but I was disappointed with the fundamental lack of execution by the Warriors in this game. They knew this was the biggest game of the season, and they did not look like they were prepared for it. Now, I know the coaches did everything that they could to do that, but sometimes when you're playing football and you're trying to coach these young men, it's really hard to get your point across. And there's lots of penalties, too many men. They had a couple penalties for no hip pads and tailbone pads. The Warriors did. So it was really disappointing to see that these penalties, these costly penalties, as much as people maybe won't say that they affected the game, they definitely affected the game. These yards and these penalties that kill momentum can really affect a team's success when it comes all down to it. Now, the score in the game, I think, ended up being 25-0. It was 3-0 at the half, and there's a couple of touchdowns near the end of the game that the Raiders scored. But you got to be focused, and I really hope the Warriors learned a lesson from this game, that in order to beat the best teams in the league, you're going to have to bring your game up a notch. You're not going to be able to do what you did most games this season, throw long bombs, run around, and just blow 100-yard touchdowns every time you touch the ball. When you play a team that's willing to tackle and willing to do what their coach says and run a scheme and do all the things properly, it's sometimes really difficult when you haven't had those games all season. Like we've always said here on the HESN podcast, competition breeds success. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you learn the lessons from the game that happened last Wednesday night at Bob Stephen Field in Barrhaven. It was a good game. So the Raiders and the Warriors played that one, and I just thought it was worth commenting on. Now, what we're going to do right now is I'm going to cut to a couple interviews that I did with the head coach of the Raiders, Tristano Raponi, and the assistant offensive coordinator, Darren Joseph from the Raiders, and you can hear a little bit about their thoughts about the game that I was just talking about. So listen and hear. We'll do Tristano first, and then we'll come back and we'll show you Darren Joseph. Tristano Raponi, head coach of the undefeated South Gloucester Raiders. First of all, I want to say congratulations. Second of all, talk to us a little bit about this critical matchup against the Bell Warriors tonight.
Well, for us, it's an important game because, going into the playoffs, you want to be on a roll. Some people would come in here and say, you know what, we've already, got home field advantage on the playoffs, and let's just, go out there and just play everybody. And for us, it's about being on a roll going into the playoffs because one loss, can, burst the bubble per se, and then, make it bad in the playoffs. And you come in there and you're kind of behind the 8 ball that way.
So it was a 3-0 game in the first half. Talk to us about some of the things that your defense did to shut down this high-powered offense of Bell Warriors.
Well, the first thing was we contained Keenan. When I was scouting them and watching their games, what I saw a lot of teams chasing him, which then they left their receivers wide open. And one of the things we emphasized on our defense is don't chase, contain, don't chase, don't let go of the receivers, because if you do, then he'll burn you.
Now, on the other end of the football, your offense, your game plan. Talk to us a little bit about what you saw in their defense, how you guys attacked it, and how your offense sort of came alive in the second half.
You know what? I basically challenged our offensive line. I said, if we're going to win this game, we got to dominate the front seven, and that's what they did. Put the challenge out to them. They went out there and they just mishandled their front seven, took their linebackers out. Malik is an amazing linebacker, and they took him out of the game. And you take him out of the game, and their defense, is kind of behind the 8 ball a little bit. So that's what we did. What
are some of the things that you guys are going to do to stay focused during sort of this first round of the playoffs, where you have a matchup that's obviously going to be a mismatch statistically, but like you guys just said in your post-game huddle there, that last year you were the team that was facing an 8-0 team, and you guys came out and shocked the world. Yeah. Was it the West Carleton Wolverines? So talk to us about how you guys are going to keep your players sharp and some of the things you're going to do to stay focused.
Well, basically remind them that, in playoffs anything can happen. Doesn't matter if you're 8-0, 1-8, 1-7, 4-4, 3-5, anything can happen. If you don't get focused and come out and get ready to play, you're gonna be exiting pretty soon. So for me, I'm going to push them for the next 3 weeks. They're going to be doing a lot of work, a lot of hard work during practice, and keeping them focused. I'll get on them day in and day out, make sure they understand what's going on. And then our job as coaches is to really put together a good scouting report, a good film report, and go over that with the kids and prepare them to play.
Well, Coach, I want to thank you for giving up your time after the game, and I guarantee we'll be seeing you later on in the season.
Thank you.
There it is, Tristano Raponi was just breaking down a little bit of the game. He was right on all counts. It was a well played game, and he should be proud of what they accomplished this season. Now let's listen to Darren Joseph's interpretation